in sadhana this morning, I had this thought. Could you put me up higher so I don't have to lose my throat? Could you take me a little higher? Yeah, thank you. So, this morning in sadhana, you know how some of those sadhanas are so amazing and others are like you're in the middle of hell and you can't get out? Yeah? I don't count the blissful ones. I count the ones in hell and I got out. And the ones that I go into just total bliss is like a vacation. But today it was quite lovely. And I just kept thinking of Deva and of Sanatana and their voices and who they are and what they bring to the world. And of course, the men that surround them. And then it came a thought. When I hear them sing, I'm never afraid of dying, because their voices are so heavenly. And if heaven is like their voices, which I think it is, then we would never have to be afraid of taking our last breath. So if that helps you at all, if you do have issues about the last breath, which many people say they don't, but I know that they do, just remember those two that have been gifted so much with a voice from heaven. I lived in a zendo for 2 years on Maui, high up in Haiku, and our schedule would go as such. We would get up at 5 to 5, and you never miss, and you just sat for 2 hours. Then you would have breakfast at 9, and after breakfast, and only after breakfast, you would speak. Then the night would come, we meditate 12 to 2 in the afternoon, work and do all the seva. At night, we would come to dinner at 5, and it would be silence until the next morning at 9. So we spent a lot of time in silence. And there's something about silence that cannot be beat. And if you've ever had the amazing opportunity of being in silence for even 24 hours, you know the difference than just chattering. I will read you something that I just love so much. I receive lots of things from people via email, via cards, greeting cards, all kinds of things, and I collect them in books. I know, I could put them on my iPad and do all that, but there's something about pages. I'm still attached to turning pages. I had CDs that I traveled with for so long, and I broke so many, you know, in and out of airplanes, that finally I surrendered to an iPad, which I really, really love. And I'm sure I will go to it eventually with books. So close your eyes, because this is really good. It's good to close your eyes. It's like when you're a kid. You know, when you close your eyes and your mother or your father or your caretaker or your school teacher in preschool would read you a story, how much better can you see with your eyes closed? Television and movies have robbed our children so much of that creative imagination that Creator has given us. They've put in the television and on the movies and kind of robbed you of your imagination. Disney told us what Cinderella looked like. But what did she really look like inside your own mind? Read to your children. It's called The Indian, the Native American and the Cricket. I was walking with my friend, an American Indian, on a crowded street in New York City, when he suddenly exclaimed, "I hear a cricket." "You're crazy," I said, as I observed the crowded noontime street scene in Midtown. Cars were honking, construction crews working, planes flying overhead, thousands of people walking by talking, vendors yelling. No, I hear a cricket, he insisted, and proceeded to walk to a flower bed in front of a fancy office building. And there, under a leafy plant, he showed me a cricket chirping with life. That's amazing, I responded. You must have fantastic hearing. Not really. It all depends on what you're tuned into, my friend explained. I find that hard to believe, I said. Watch, my wise friend offered, and he proceeded to drop a handful of coins onto the crowded sidewalk. Instantly, heads turned, eyes darted, and hands reached for pockets to see if they were the poor soul who had lost his or her money. See? His eyes twinkled. It all depends on what you're tuned into. Let's see for the remainder of our time here. I don't know if there's crickets. And it's much easier, of course, to hear the ganga and to hear the kirtan. Maybe even talk softer to each other. I know God softened my voice. He even took it away yesterday. It's funny when you lose.